get started. There's your Pear Deck link. It's a shorter Pear Deck today. And by shorter, I mean there's not as many slides. There's only 11 total slides. 2 of them are videos, and really only like really only 2 slides of content. Okay, it's not a huge Pear Deck. So I'm hoping to get all 36 of y'all that are in here logged into this. Just take a minute, just sitting right there, and we'll rock through this. We're gonna talk about World War II today, and really like what you'll probably see on the test, and some of you may have already taken it. It's what the released questions and all of the review stuff that they put out for this test is way less than the actual depth that we went into it, and we didn't go into it in near enough depth to give the topic justice. And again, guys, with a lot of these topics, like the Gilded Age, the Progressive Era, World War II, the Red Scare, the Cold War era, these were all semester-long classes that I took in college. Like, that's how deep you can get into it. And you could really do this in year-long classes just on these topics. But go ahead and log in here. I got 10 of you in here so far, and one of them is me. So let's get it going. A little more than, a little less than under 25%. You guys another 5-10 seconds. Again, here's that link. What's up, Kyoshi? Click that link, bro. What's up, Emery? What's up, Ashley? Did I say hi to you already, Ashley? Usually you're the first people to say hello. I don't think I got that hello. What's up, Gabrielle? Gianna? Jalen? Juan and Kalel? Lakota? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Where's your stress level? Tomorrow's our last day of live class until next Thursday. So after tomorrow, it's going to be, we are going to start, I'm going to start some new topics here. We're going to talk about Vietnam on Monday and Tuesday, but it will be a recording that you'll have to watch. Okay. And you'll have workbooks and stuff on Vietnam. But again, it'll be a recording. You still be able to reach out to me. I'll have my computer at the testing site. Some of you guys will be testing with me. Kinsey, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Some of you guys, it's my turn to go to the testing site. I know I'll see some of y'all. And then, guys, we're only really, after next week, we're a week away from spring break. So, Ashley, you're good. You're good, Ashley. It'll be all right. You'll be able to reach out to me. Again, you'll be able to send messages back and forth. We just aren't going to have that live class session or the target sessions because of testing. Okay. And it seems like today, guys, the highest stress level we got so far is right here at a 6, and I'll take that. 10s are bad. I'll take over here. But if you're on the right side of that desk, again, as always, let me know what I can do to bring that level down. Let me know. Again, I forgot to share my screen. There it is. Rose, I wasn't going to call you out. You're not the only one, but I wasn't, with these, I don't ever call students out unless you call yourself out. You put it in public first, dude. All right. Let's take a look at our learning targets. We only have 2 today, and they're pretty simple. Rose, I like that. Being open with and honest with yourself. So it makes life easiest. Yeah, Kiyoshi, I think you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to bring your computer. I'm not sure, though. All right, today's learning targets. Analyze the reasons for American isolationist sentiment in the interwar period. That interwar period is the time between World War I and World War II. Okay? And then second, identify and explain changes in American society experienced with the mobilization of its economic and military resources during World War II. So from what I gather from all of the review material, what they really want you to know is why didn't America want to be in the war? And how did America go when the war started? How did the United States change on the home front? Right? What changed? As far as the battles, the generals, the timelines, that seems to all be like secondary stuff. And I could be wrong. They could throw this stuff on the test, but from what all of the review materials, all of the released test data that they give us, what it shows me is this is the stuff that we really need to know for the test. Okay. So let's talk about the isolationist sentiment, right? That not wanting to get into war. Isolationism means we're closing ourselves off from everyone else's problems. We just got done fighting World War I in Europe, and we don't want to deal with Europe's problems anymore. We're staying out of it. So the U.S. is reluctant to get involved in an overseas conflict. Okay. But we will practice some things called the good neighbor policy, which is kind of a retreat from the Monroe Doctrine and the Roosevelt Corollary, which basically says like the United States is the only power that is going to be operating in the Western Hemisphere. The good neighbor policy says like, we'll change that up a little bit. But we are going to pass what's known as the Neutrality Acts, which are going to isolate the U.S. from problems in Asia and Europe. So we're going to ignore basically what Hitler's doing at the start of the war with the Blitzkrieg, the invasion of Czechoslovakia, the invasion of Poland, the invasion of France and taking of the Rhineland and the Sudetenland. That's not our problem. That's Europe's problem. But we're also going to kind of ignore what Japan's doing by taking over Korea, by taking over Manchuria and northern China, and basically positioning itself in the Pacific to become a major power. And that's what's really going to get us in the war is, as we know, Japan bombs Pearl Harbor, ending the U.S. isolationist policies by positioning themselves to attack the Philippines, to attack Pearl Harbor in order to become that main power in the Pacific. We are going to aid countries, though, fighting against Hitler and the fascist aggression. We're going to do this with things called like cash and carry. Basically, we're going to sell them weapons straight up for cash. Again, you guys can carry our weapons and our guns, but we'll sell them to you. We're also going to do this thing called destroyers for bases, basically meaning like, hey, we'll build you Navy destroyers, we'll build you Navy ships if you give us military bases in Europe and give us strategic places around Europe to post our military. So if you've ever wondered why does the United States have so many military bases in Europe, i.e. like Germany, Belgium, places like that, yes, NATO, but this is where it started. Same with this Lend-Lease Act. Where we're going to lend you money if you lease us land for military operations and military bases. And then the Atlantic Charter, which is where we're just basically going to sell stuff to Britain and France. Right? And then we should all know about Pearl Harbor ending U.S. isolationist policies. Okay. Let's take a minute here. We're going to watch this guy talk about the home front during World War II. And this guy said, as you know, he's talking about the AP class, which is a lot more in depth, or I guess a little more in depth than what we're doing. But there's a lot of great information in this video, so just keep that in mind. It is difficult to catch chickens. They are a elusive bunch. All right, so for this question here, guys, it wants you to take, basically, you're going to create the bar graph for mobilization for World War II. It caused many changes in domestic life in the United States. It says to click increase. I just want you to draw the bar graph here. Click increase, no change or decrease on the graph to identify how each aspect of domestic life changed. So for employment for African Americans and women, if you think during World War II that decreased, just draw the little bar graph. If you think it was no change, draw the bar graph for that one. Or if you think it increased, draw the bar graph, which this one increased. You can also maybe do a text. No, you can't do the text box. But, you know, if you wanted to say, like, for over top of it, if you wanted to write, like, increased or something like that, I don't know. Or designate a color. So, like, this one's red. If you wanted to say, like, or, hey, look, there's a line. Perfect. Boom. You could do like that. Whatever works best for you. Take a minute and tell me whether you think employment for African Americans and women, did that decrease? Was it no change or did it increase? Just do that first one. Just do that first one first. Some of us are, you know, we worked all the way ahead, but let's just start with the first one for now. We'll go through it one at a time. I'm going to do the line because it's easiest for me. But that first one, we know from the video, they'd increased, right? Rosie the Riveter was an example of propaganda to get women in the workplace, right? To work those hard jobs. What about the second one? You're all right, Kimberly. Did product rationing, did that decrease? Was there no change in product rationing, or did that increase during World War II? Somebody put it in the chat. Do me a favor, just throw that in the chat. What do you think? I'm gonna call Kinsey out because she's doing it. That increased too, right? What about war bond purchases? What do we know about war bonds? Did those increase? Was there no change? Did they decrease? Oh, Kinsey, you're good. Kinsey, this last one. What is it? Tell me the answer. It increased. We'll go purple. So if you put increase for all three, guess what? You're right. So let's look at mobilization for World War II. Right? We know that, as that video told us, factories reorganized for war goods. They instituted a draft. They had scrap drives. People planted victory gardens. They bought war bonds. There was wage and price regulations. There was rationing. Some labor unions signed no strike pledges, meaning like, yeah, we'll work all these hours, we'll work these conditions, we won't go on strike, we won't try to negotiate for this stuff during the war because we know, like, this is why these factories, this is why we know the production is where it is. There's more jobs for women and minorities. And then the dark times here, we know that many Japanese Americans on the West Coast were put in internment camps and in relocation camps. And many enlisted in the army as well. So during World War II, the U.S. government created a system to ration the distribution of certain resources such as petroleum, which is gasoline, oil. How did this new system of regulation affect the distribution of resources in the United States? I'm going to take a minute. Tell me what you think. Did it grant more privileges to wealthy business owners? Did it provide more goods and services to the working class? Did it limit the number of goods individuals could purchase? Or did it supply members of the upper class better quality goods? Tell me what you think. Just select it. Just going to draw or highlight. Kinsey got it right. Jakayon got it right. Skylar got it right. Ashley got it right. Taylor got it right. Those are who responded. If you're not sure, guys, it's C. It's going to limit the number of goods individuals can purchase. Why? Because we're not going to be able to ship as many things as often because of gasoline. That's really it. We're just going to limit the amount of things that are in stores because of shipping. Kind of what's going on right now. The attack on Pearl Harbor caused changes in American domestic policies. Which event was a consequence of the attack on Pearl Harbor? The United States bombed Berlin in retaliation, causing Germany to declare war. Congress passed the Neutrality Act of 1939, which permitted Britain to buy U.S. weapons. The United States government forced Japanese Americans to relocate to internment camps, or the Roosevelt administration created the New Deal agencies to help prepare the country for war. Which one do you think it is? You're right, Skylar. You are right on. I think my grandfather owned one of those. They own a farm in Hartville. Let's see. Carissa got that one right. Kinsey got it right. Jakayon, try again, bro. Gabrielle, try again. Ashley got it. Kalel got it. Let's go. Why are only a couple of us answering? If you put C, we forced the Japanese Americans to relocate to internment camps. That's what it is. And here is your... Because these things happen, right? Well, Germany declared war regardless, but we did bomb Berlin eventually. The Neutrality Acts were passed in 1939, which permitted Britain to buy U.S. weapons. The Neutrality Act was passed. We did sell weapons to Britain, but that wasn't a result of Pearl Harbor because that happened in 1941 was Pearl Harbor. Roosevelt administration created the New Deal agencies to help prepare the countries for war. That happened in the 1930s. So that did happen, but it happened before Pearl Harbor. What happened as a result? Again, domestic policies. That's what we're looking for. Internment camps, guys. For Japanese Americans. Oops. All right. And to top it off, we got a brief history of the war. This should take us right to 11 o'clock. All right, guys, it is 11. But before you go, if you would be so kind, just tell me, Circle, how you're feeling on this unit, on this topic. It's pretty recent for us in class, but have a great rest of your day. Target sessions at 12:30 and 2:30. All right. Get to science class. Sorry I kept you over a minute. Bye, Carissa. Bye, Ashley. Bye, Larry. Bye, Jakayon. Bye, Rose. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you all tomorrow.